Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching PlainSpeak with me, Shivani Gupta. It's been an interesting day of opposition politics and protests in the national capital today. Not only did opposition parties stall proceedings of parliament demanding a JPC on the Adani issue, they even staged a protest march till the ED office. This march was led by the Congress, who along with other parties wrote a letter to the Enforcement Directorate demanding probe into the Adani Hindenburg report. 18 opposition parties have written and are signatories to this letter. KCR's BRS, that has national ambitions of its own, were not part of the march led by the Congress but were signatories to the letter. Interestingly, TMC and NCP also did not join forces with this march today. But with some show of strength, even if on separate issues and slightly differently, the opposition has managed to take the heat off Rahul Gandhi, who was being lambasted by the BJP for defaming India overseas and asking for foreign intervention. Many opposition parties have not really come to Rahul's defense. In fact, some have expressed the view that such statements criticizing Indian democracy should not be made in foreign land, but they are definitely on board in cornering the government on issues, even if those issues don't always match. The larger question also is, the proceedings in both houses of parliament were disrupted for a third straight day. Since the resumption of the budget session, the BJP has been demanding an apology from Rahul Gandhi for, quote, tarnishing India's image on foreign soil, and the opposition has been raising the JPC demand over the Adani Hindenburg report. In all of this politics, is it really necessary that parliament proceedings be stalled? We'll take those questions to our guests in just a bit. Let's take a quick look at the differences in the tactics and the issues that were writ large across opposition ranks today. So as I mentioned, 18 opposition parties, which include the Congress, DMK, Left, SP, JDU, RJD, what's left of the Uddhav faction, the Aam Aadmi Party, participated in the protest march today from Parliament to ED office. But very prominent regional players, the likes of Mamata Banerjee's TMC, Sharad Pawar's NCP and K. Chandrasekhar Rao's BRS were not part of this march. Let me break down some of these opposition optics a little bit more in detail. So after the opposition meet today, the parties decided to put up this show of strength. Congress with 16 other parties led this march. This after sending a letter to the ED2 demanding a probe in the Hindenburg report case. 18 parties were signatories to this letter, but the march was not attended by all of them. It was eventually stopped by the police at Vijay Chowk. Meanwhile, BRS MPs were absent from this march, although they were signatories to the letter to the ED, but they have always managed to keep themselves a little bit away from the grand old party. Remember, BRS has national ambitions of its own. Not to forget that they have traditionally been equally opposed to both the BJP and the Congress party. The Trinamool Congress distanced themselves from the opposition and even the demand on the Adani issue. They protested outside Parliament today against price hike and inflation. They've alleged that Congress and BJP are actually hand in gloves with each other in Bengal. TMC neither took part in the protest march, neither did they sign that letter to the ED director. The biggest shocker perhaps was the case of the NCP, allies of the Congress party in Maharashtra. They've always raised similar issues in the past. NCP MP Praful Patel, in fact, was part of the opposition meeting which took place in the morning, but the party skipped the march and they were not a signatory to the letter either on the Adani issue. Meanwhile, there was uproar in Parliament again today and sloganeering by opposition demanding this JPC. The BJP continues to demand an apology from Rahul Gandhi. Both houses were really adjourned without much business being conducted.
It is shameful that Rahul Gandhi, instead of coming to Parliament and apologizing for his undemocratic rant against India, the Congress party has been brought to political perish by the people of India for this very behavior that you exhibited against the nation state overseas.
वो राहुल गांधी ट्रोल मंत्रालय की प्रमुख मंत्री हैं और वही काम वो पूरी शिद्दत से, पूरी लगन से करती हैं। बहुत सारे लोगों में होड़ लगी हुई है कि राहुल गांधी जी को ज्यादा ट्रोल कौन कर पाएगा, कौन ज्यादा दो रुपल्ली का ट्रोल बनेगा इस सरकार के मंत्रियों में। उनको लगा कि अनुराग ठाकुर जी उनसे बाजी मार रहे हैं, तो मैडम ने आज फिर से कमान संभाल ली है।
The big debate that's coming up today, there is this JPC versus apology slugfest that is going on. between the opposition versus the government. But is it truly necessary to stall Parliament for that? And is the government, the Treasury Benches, also now guilty of doing exactly what they have blamed the opposition for previous sessions?
ईडी इस मामले में एफआईआर दर्ज करके इन्वेस्टिगेशन शुरू करे। अडानी के खिलाफ कार्रवाई क्यों नहीं हो रही है?
सरकार हमको विजय चौक के पास भी नहीं जाने दे रही और रोक लिए है।
आवश्यक है कि हम नहीं, सबने देखा ये विजुअल प्रतीक है कि यह तानाशाही सरकार है। हम इन्हें झुकाएंगे, ये मार्च रुकेगा नहीं।
There in the West Bengal, Congress and BJP is together. Therefore, we are not.
सारे दुनिया के डायस्पोरा से हमको फोन आ रहे। भारत का अपमान कर रहा है इस सदन के एक नेता।
एक सदन का मेंबर जिस प्रकार से विदेश में जाके भारत के सदन का अपमान करता है, और अगर इनको कोई अपमान नहीं लगता है और ये इस प्रकार का व्यवहार करते हैं, तो मेरा मानना है कि इनको तख्ती नहीं, इनको सस्पेंड किया जाए।
माननीय सदस्यगण,
Let's go across to the guests who are joining us. Neeti Jain from the BJP, Lavanya Balal from the Congress Party. I'm also joined by TKS Ilangovan, DMK spokesperson and former RS MP. Rahul Reddy is from the BRS, and Karan Verma is author and analyst joining us also on the show. Let me start with our DMK representative today, Mr. Ilangovan. You know, even as the opposition parties like yourself came together with the Congress Party, the one thing that stood large is that even the opposition is not united as far as this JPC demand is concerned. Very prominent regional satraps, parties that are in power in some states, are not on board as far as this march is concerned. What are we to make of this?
No, we are trying. See, there should be a united opposition to defeat this government. That is what our Mr. Stalin, our leader, Mr. Stalin, had also stated earlier. And time and again, he is talking about that, and he is trying to unite all parties against BJP. That is one strategy against electoral strategy which will defeat BJP. That is our aim, and we will work for it.
No,
so
this is something that sir, this is something that the opposition obviously ideally wants, and you've been working on it. We've seen statements from Mr. Stalin in the past too. But it's really not coming true, right? It's just 1 year to go before the next general elections. There seem to be very deep differences, even on the JPC demand, for example. The TMC says we are not concerned with the JPC. So is the rest of the opposition using this as a hook to corner the government when actually there's no need for a JPC here?
No, I understand that. We will talk with them also. See, JPC asking for a JPC or not is a question relating to one subject. Whereas saving the country needs a strong unity among all opposition parties. So these two issues. The second issue on which to save the nation we are working, we will talk to all the parties.
Okay, Mr. Reddy of the BRS with us. They've also not really rubbed shoulders with the Congress and the DMK and others. And the very simple explanation to that, Mr. Reddy, is that your leaders, including the likes of Mamata Banerjee of the TMC, have their own national ambitions. So am I fair to say that you do not want to be seen in the stewardship of the Congress party as far as this opposition bloc is concerned?
No, we always have mentioned it very clearly. We maintain equal distance with Bharatiya Janata Party as well Congress. But today the issue is not, who is rubbing shoulders with Congress party or not. The bigger picture is, the larger picture is, why the central government, Modi government is scared of forming a JPC. That is the issue. If somebody wants to show this as an opposition unity or divide with one aspect or two things, two issues that cannot be decided, that will be a issue which will be worked out on a later stage. But at this point in time, why Modi is going back on a discussion on Adani scam, why they are not forming the JPC?
Okay, but as far as the discussion is concerned, As far as the discussion on the Adani issue is concerned, the discussion did happen. Now, I can come to the JPC demand, but if you do want a discussion in Parliament, don't you think the responsibility is also with the opposition to let the Parliament function? How is the discussion supposed to happen?
No. If the government allows the discussion to happen, we have given many adjournment motions in the past also, in the last sessions also. The government has not agreed to one adjournment motion. They have not allowed any discussion on Adani's scam, where Prime Minister is the main person behind Adani. That's what the entire country believes it. That is why they are scared of forming JPC. Even for the Supreme Court Constitutional Committee, they wanted to give the names in sealed cover or something.
Okay.
They wanted to hide. They are escaping. They are avoiding the discussion. Today, the question is, you have to form a JPC and the facts to come out. This government is scared of, the issue, and they know things will come out because entire country is believing.
Okay, but there's a Supreme Court looking at it. There's a Supreme Court looking at it. The other concerned departments or government agencies are looking at it, or concerned agencies are looking at it, or institutions are looking at it. Why do you believe JPC is the appropriate forum? What is the JPC going to achieve?
Absolutely. JPC, see, whatever you are expecting other, regulators are going to achieve, I think JPC will be doing better than that. JPC will representation by all parties, they all will be there. A parliamentary committee will be there. I think the parliament is the decision-making body in this country, and we should have that respect, right?
Okay, but are you saying that parallelly, let me take that to Mr. Ilangovan also, are you saying that parallelly, even as the Supreme Court is looking into this matter, a JPC is extremely important? So two separate institutions should be looking at it?
There is an earlier case of 2G, when the matter was taken to the Supreme Court, they formed a JPC, they investigated the case and then presented a report. See, it is the responsibility of the ruling party to the parliament. The house is not only for the ruling party, it is for the opposition parties also. We have a right to give any notice for discussion under rules of the procedure of the house. But that was not respected by the ruling party. They think that the parliament is only for the ruling party.
Okay.
Why not JPC when they had fixed JPC on two other issues earlier? Why not on this issue? This is also a major issue which concerns the people of this country. Why not they allow form JPC to go into it?
Okay, the BJP representative will respond to that. But before that, let me bring in Lavanya Balal of the Congress also. Some would also say that this whole thing that the Congress did today was primarily to take the heat of Rahul Gandhi, because the government and the Treasury benches have been maintaining this heat for an apology on Rahul Gandhi. Today, when we were expecting that Rahul Gandhi will possibly come up and turn up to Parliament, because questions have been raised on why he's not in Parliament when he's so worried about Indian democracy and parliamentary proceedings, the Congress does this march. Was this all so that the questions over Rahul Gandhi, he escapes the heat?
Hi, good evening. When it comes to Adani's scam, Mr. Rahul Gandhi has raised this issue a month prior to this hullabulla that is being raised by the BJP today. And Mr. Gandhi's presence in the parliament is being questioned by the BJP. I think they should also provide the number of days of attendance of our Honorable Prime Minister in the parliament. You will see he's one of the leaders, MPs in the parliament who has the least amount of attendance for the parliamentary debates. And having said that, you were asking the previous speakers about why do we need a JPC when there is a Supreme Court investigation going on. So investigation has its limitations, and that is why the opposition is demanding a JPC. Now the question is, when we march to the ED today, why hasn't the ED not even started preliminary investigation into the Adani scam, despite this being the biggest corporate fraud in independent India? It is also about the amount of public debt from public sector banks, right? It affects every common man, the white crime, which affects every Indian. Why is there a hesitation to approve a JPC? See, a parliamentary discussion is a two-way street, like the previous speaker was saying. It is not a one-way street where somebody dictates and the rest of them listen. Now, parliamentary proceedings will proceed if, it is simple, if BJP agrees to have a JPC. It is as simple as that.
Okay, I think the Congress has made its point very clear.
Conditions, ma'am.
Yeah, can I just give Neeti a minute to respond, but respond on two things, Neeti. One, why don't you agree to a JPC? In fact, even the discussion on the Adani issue, most portions have been removed. That may be the prerogative of the speaker, but the government has been very hesitant to even debate this very openly. The demand of the JPC, and secondly, why are you insisting on an apology from Rahul Gandhi? You are also guilty of stalling the House for this demand. Very quickly, please.
Okay, so first of all, let me begin by saying I think this discussion started with the DMK spokesperson placing it very clearly that entire matter, the today's march and the stalling the entire proceedings of the parliament was about 2024, about getting the opposition together. This has nothing to do with any matter that they pick up. Every time the parliament is in session, the opposition comes up with some issue or the other and they have to stall the parliament to not let the parliament function. And that remains the matter with the opposition. Secondly, you ask us why do we need an apology? The apology is for the comments that Rahul Gandhi has made abroad. And I need to ask the DMK and the BRS spokesperson, do they agree with what Rahul Gandhi has said abroad? And are they on board with whatever Congress is doing, embarrassing the entire country abroad? And that is the apology that we are seeking. It is not the BJP that is stalling the parliament. It serves us no purpose to stall the parliament. We have been a government that has shown a brilliant record in the parliament functioning and the work that has been done. And that is why the opposition needs a reason to not let that work get done.
Okay.
And that remains the entire point. The apology is not for anything else but the comments that were made abroad.
Well, I think it's quite clear. It's quite clear that not all opposition parties are very keen on defending Rahul Gandhi on this issue. But let me bring in Karan Verma here also.
Exactly.
That is one thing.
Exactly.
And on my show also, I've had the
diversionary tactic.
No, I've had the TMC before say that we are not in agreement of such statements being made the way they were made overseas. So I think opposition parties are not in favor of really coming to his defense. That's really a Congress issue. But other than that also, whether it's the Adani issue, issues that have come up in the past, Rahul Gandhi's speech, do you feel that the more we get closer to the general elections, actually there are more reasons the parties don't see eye to eye than they do?
Shivani, the hypocrisy of the opposition is unbelievable. I mean, I just heard the Congress spokesperson say on your panel that Adani has done the biggest fraud. Well, if he's done the biggest fraud, why are you giving him projects worth 60,000 crores in your state, Rajasthan? Why are you giving him projects worth 25,000 crores in Chhattisgarh? Why are you doing that? Do you have an answer to that? Such careless statements to be made about our corporates, when the fact of the matter is this Hindenburg report has not said anything new. 70 people, entities, and including the promoters themselves have been investigated by the SEBI. They've also been investigated, Shivani, by the Karnataka Lokayuk. In fact, the Department of Revenue Intelligence, which has much more teeth than this JPC, they pressed charges against Samir Vora, the brother-in-law of Adani, and they were put before an appellate tribunal. The appellate tribunal gave an order in favor of Samir Vora, which was further challenged in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court upheld that order. Truth of the matter is, there is unbelievable amount of judicial scrutiny that Adani has been put to, and it is welcome. The Supreme Court is still looking onto it. Truth is, they have no issue. They have the desire to be a prime minister or cobble up some alliance, but they can't do a single thing for public welfare. They want
Shivani,
this public entity to be taken to smithereens, and they don't understand that the more we discuss this without facts, the Supreme Court is looking under it, we cause an erosion of public wealth in it. This is highly irresponsible, and this is a responsibility for which they've been punished again and again by the people of this country.
Okay, well, the people will decide. I do have to end this. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. We'll see how this battle and this slugfest goes between this, the core case of defamation that the BJP is mounting on Rahul Gandhi and deflection charge by the Congress against the BJP. I thank our guests for joining us, but I also want to go across to our special guest, Karti P. Chidambaram, joining us on the show today, Congress MP from Sivaganga. I want to understand from you, Karti, is the Adani issue going to be the biggest issue that the Congress party is going to raise ahead of the next general elections? The way the Congress is hell-bent on a JPC demand along with other opposition?
Not at all. No general election is fought on one issue. There will be many issues, and this will be an issue which we will raise. This will be an issue about institutional oversight failure. This will be an issue about perhaps crony capitalism. It will be an issue about institutions which are supposed to exercise oversight which have failed. This will be one of the many issues which we will raise. This will not be the only issue in which we will be going to the people in 2024.
I want to understand from you, many other regional leaders don't really want to be seen with the Congress party and certainly not with the Congress party spearheading the opposition. Recently, Mallikarjun Kharge said that it has to be the Congress that will bring opposition parties together ahead of for the next general elections, and we will lead this bloc. But the likes of Mamata Banerjee, of course, KCR, even the likes of, Arvind Kejriwal at some places don't seem to agree with this. They don't want to be seen with you.
An alliance of one-state parties does not make a national alliance. An alliance of one-state parties adds no electoral value to each other. So in order for an alliance to be viable and an alliance to be credible against the BJP, you need another national party to be the centrality and the fulcrum of that alliance. And only the Congress can be that fulcrum and centrality. The Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu and the leader of the DMK understands that, and that is why he on March 1st clearly articulated that regional parties all must come around the Congress party. And whether on questions of leadership, our president has himself said, those are something which we can be discussed later. But the Congress has to be the centrality and has to be the fulcrum for a united opposition against the BJP.
No, but Karthi, the likes of Mamata Banerjee, BRS believe the Congress is not beating the BJP.
I am coming to that.
They are the ones who are beating the BJP in their states.
I am coming to that. Listen to me. There are certain one-state parties which have certain regional compulsions, local compulsions, which prevent them from sort of cooperating and coming together with the Congress party. I understand their limitations. I understand their compulsions. Their primary interest is always to safeguard their turf in their own state. And sometimes the Congress is the principal opponent for them in their own state. So there is a contradiction for them. So they will not be able to come. I understand the limitation.
No,
but certain parties will be able to overcome the limitation. Certain parties won't have that limitation and they'll come together. But if some parties have that limitation and have an hesitation, I understand that.
No, Karthi, some of these parties that have that limitation do come together with the Congress party on the national stage. The left is a very good example in Kerala, for example.
Yes.
There is fundamentally...
Some parties will have the maturity to put their... Some parties will have the maturity to put aside the regional concerns and come together for the national cause. And some parties will not have that maturity. I understand that.
Or you're using maturity as a euphemism for ambition. No, you're using maturity as a euphemism for ambition. Today, some parties have the ambition
no,
that
I'm
the
not
Congress
using it as
party
any
believes it's
euphemism.
only its domain.
I'm telling the ground reality.
But
no, please listen to me.
Yes.
And I said this in the beginning of my comments. If you allow me to speak. I mean, your audio is, I can't hear you very well. Just allow me to speak.
Okay.
An alliance of one-state parties is an alliance which adds no value to each other. Please understand that. An alliance can only add value if your vote bank is added to their candidate and their vote bank is added to our candidate. And an alliance of one-state parties, and a party which is confined to, say, Telangana, and a party which is, say, confined to, say, Delhi, add no value to each other. They don't have electorates, they don't have vote banks in each of these states.
Then
so
what
unless
about
you have
the DMK?
A party which has vote banks throughout the country and has an alliance with them, this has no meaning. These alliances without the Congress has no meaning. They can come together post-election, but pre-election they add no value to each other. So some parties will understand that and will put aside their regional compulsions and come together for the national cause. And some parties might not, and I understand that and I accept that.
Okay. I want to come to the issue of Rahul Gandhi's statements now. The BJP believes Rahul should apologize for what he has said in the UK, especially of all places. They're accusing him of wanting foreign intervention into Indian domestic issues, including the issue that he's been raising ad nauseum, which is that there is no democracy in India. In fact, he said in one of his UK speeches that India has fallen out of democracy fold. It is not something that is going to happen or something that is in danger. It has already happened. He's back in India. Shouldn't Rahul Gandhi make some sort of a statement, if not a full-blown apology as the BJP is asking for? Because this is a matter of India at large. This is not just the matter of the government.
First of all, Mr. Rahul Gandhi has no reason to apologize to anybody. Okay, first and foremost. And secondly, he has not called for foreign intervention into India. He has articulated the state of affairs in India in an international platform. Please understand, every politician, every person in public life, when they travel outside, when they address in international gatherings, will allude to events in their home country. Would you say to the African National Congress before that they should have never spoken about apartheid outside South Africa? Would you have told the Palestinians that they should not speak about the fact that they don't have a homeland in an international forum? Would you tell the Sri Lankan Tamils that they cannot talk about the fact that they are being discriminated in Sri Lanka in an international forum? Would you tell the women in Afghanistan who have been denied the right to education that they cannot speak about it in an international forum? Or would you tell the women in Iran who are fighting against the hijab rule that they can't speak about it? Today there is no such thing as a national issue and an international issue. All issues are international. And whenever a platform is given, anybody in public life will raise it.
No, but Karti, you're seriously comparing India to an apartheid South Africa or a Palestine? Seriously?
Of course. See, it is discrimination. See, apartheid would have been government policy. Here you have, you're targeting opposition. I mean, we rank the lowest in press freedom. I mean, we discriminate against opposition leaders. We prosecute and persecute opposition leaders. There is definitely an erosion of democratic values in India. And I'm saying that. And if the government is so confident of the democratic values in India, why are they making much ado about a speech by a member of parliament outside the country in an international forum? They should let it be, and this is quite churlish on the BJP to be asking for apologies. Mr. Rahul Gandhi has no reason to apologize about anything.
Okay.
This is normal practice. Anybody will use any stage to highlight the issues they are currently dealing with.
Okay, let me frame this a little bit differently. Frankly, whether the BJP is wanting an apology or not is not really an issue for me. My issue is the Congress party, if it's seen as internationalizing, let's say, what is happening in India, as you enumerated. It has happened in the past, other countries have done it, so is the Congress party doing it. Does it really work for you in India? Forget about whether he asked for foreign intervention or not. The fact that Congress leaders are going overseas and complaining about the government of the day instead of fighting it in India, as Rahul Gandhi did during the Bharat Jodo Yatra.
We are fighting it here.
Does that work with the electorate today?
We are fighting it here. We are fighting it every single day. Every one of us fights it in our own way. But if there is a forum given to me, I will use the forum to highlight the issue.
No, but Karti, my point is, why
do you want me not to use the forum given to me?
This is a very different India today.
Say, for example,
that does not believe that the West needs to tell us how we need to run our country or what is right for us. Do you think the messaging in itself is wrong?
Nobody is suggesting the West to give us advice. Shivani, you must either allow me to answer or I must listen to your monologue. I used to do one of the
Go ahead.
It's very difficult for me because your questions have to be specific. What is your specific question? I'll give you a specific answer.
Can I frame it?
What is your specific question?
Yes, my question is, even the very messaging of a Congress leader going overseas and asking the West to intervene or take notice because of what's happening in India. Is that a message that works with the Indian electorate or actually makes the Congress party look bad?
Whether it works with the Indian electorate or not will be known during the elections. So why are you prejudging us? We will go to the electorate with a wholesome agenda and the electorate will either accept our agenda or will reject our agenda. This is not the only message we are going to take to the people. The fact that democratic values, democratic institutions are collapsing in India is a fact. We will highlight that in every forum we get. So, and if people don't like our messaging, if people don't agree with us, they will not support us. If they agree with us, they will support us. Simple as that. So, why do you want to split hairs about it today?
Okay. My final question to you, as we build up to the entire 2024 general elections, where do you see the Congress party's campaign against what seems to be a very strong Narendra Modi-led government and also the plans to bring the opposition together? Rahul Gandhi, for example, had alluded to it that we have plans, he's not going to reveal it. But are they materializing because time is running out?
No, I lost your question. I couldn't hear half of it. So please tell, what is your specific question?
Can I try one more time? I'm saying, how do you look at the battle for the 2024 elections? 1 year to go. How do you think this is shaping up for you as a Congress MP and for the opposition at large?
There is time. There are state elections coming up. They will also set the tone for the elections next year, and then they'll also allow regional parties, one state parties, to make up their mind on which side of the aisle they want to stand, and then formations will happen, and then the people of India will decide whether they want to continue with this muscular nationalistic Hindutva government, or with a liberal, egalitarian government for all sections of society. People will make that choice next year.
Okay. I'll leave it at that. Karti Chidambaram, thanks a lot for your time. Always a pleasure to speak to you. The battle for 2024 certainly building up, and it's going to be a heated one. I'm moving on to the other big four.